Hello there, welcome to Craft with Fee. Well, it's week 4 and we have another tutorial for you this week. This time it's something that I designed 3 years ago. I drew up some pentagons that you can see here on the pattern sheet. So I drew up some pentagons and I came up with this gorgeous little basket. So it is designed to hold your pins or your scraps while you're sewing. It can also be used as a pin dish if you want to put a magnet into the base of it here, or you can pop a magnet into one of the sides. I've popped a little magnet into this area here, and if I just show you, it can act as a needle keep. So that there holds, you can see there that that magnet is hidden in underneath, and it will hold your needles while you're stitching and all your scraps and bits and pieces in the side here. Now this is English paper piecing, and I have done a version before when I first designed it using the paper I showed you last week that you can keep inside, but this one that I've made this time, I've decided to leave the cardboard inside to give your bowl some substance, and you can see here that it's nice and thick. Now because it's not going to be washed or anything, it's just going to be a decorative item, you can leave the cardboard in there if you want. If you don't leave the cardboard in there or use something for substance, your bowl's not going to sit up properly and you're not going to get the same effect. But anyway, I just thought it would be a nice thing to go with your pincushion that you made last week. It would be a nice little set. So that's why I've decided to go with this project instead of any of the ones on the TILDA site this week. So you can download this sheet. I'm going to put it into the group. You'll be able to download it from the group. You'll also be able to download it from my blog. Now you only need 12 of these shapes to make the bowl. You'll see that on the sheet I've actually got 15. Now I did that because I'm frugal and I don't like wastage, so that you will get an extra 3 per page. So if you want to make more than one, that's fine. If you don't, well then you've just got 3 that you can throw out. Now I've printed this straight onto card, and then from that you go and cut your shapes. So cutting your shapes is as easy as using a pair of scissors, but what I also tend to do is to use a quilting ruler, and I have a rotary cutter that is for paper only because I do paper crafts as well. And then so you can use one of your quilting rulers and a blade that is suitable for paper, and you can cut the bottom. I'll just move that up a bit for you so that you can see. Yep, there. So you can actually cut the bottom of your shapes with a ruler to give you that nice straight finish if you're not too happy with your cutting, if you don't cut quite straight enough. But the other thing that you can do before you actually cut up your pieces is to take a piece of plastic, be it template plastic or this is just overhead projector paper, clear paper. And so then what you need to do is to use a ruler or something straight. I'll just grab a smaller ruler if I can. No, I can't seem to find one. I'll have to use this big one. Anyway, what I want you to do is to make yourself a little peekaboo template. So this will help you pattern match. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw the shape using a straight edge, could be a ruler or anything else, with a permanent marker onto the plastic. And so what this is going to help you to do is to be able to see where you are cutting your shape on your fabric. That is, of course, if you want to fussy cut. You don't have to do this. This is just a little idea for you. Okay, so now you have your shape on your plastic, which is great, but what you also need to do is to make an allowance for the seam. So you need to have a 1/4 inch rule on each edge. We don't actually need our template sheet for this, so we're just going to make ourselves the template with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. So then you'll end up with something that looks like that. Now you can cut this out with scissors or you can cut it out with a rotary cutter and a ruler. That is entirely up to you. But it is very easy just to cut out with a pair of scissors. as you can see. So there you have your template. And so then, as I said, you go ahead and you cut out your little pieces there, and you will end up with pieces that look like this. Okay. Now on this one, I cut the pattern in exactly the same spot on each piece, just because I wanted it to look the same. Now, of course, you don't have to do that. And I have done another version for you that I'm going to use on camera here. And you can see here that I have cut each one of those in exactly the same spot on the fabric. Now, the way that you achieve that is, I'm just going to grab a piece of fabric. So the way that you achieve that is that you are going to use your template and your piece of fabric. I'll get that here. And you can use your template here like this, and you can decide whereabouts that you are going to place it. Now, if you want to be completely exact and know for sure that you are getting your template in exactly the same spot, what you can do is to mark with your pen something inside that shape. So for me this time it's the dot. So when I go to my next piece, I can see there that I've got it in exactly the same spot because I've lined up that dot. So then all you need to do is to grab a pen or a marker or a pencil. I'm madly trying to find mine. And then you are going to just draw around your shape with your pencil, and then you are going to cut your shape out. So I'll just draw around this one for the purposes of the video. There we go, you've got my shape there. And then we will grab our fabric scissors, and then we are just going to cut it out. So what you're actually doing is cutting out your shape with your seam allowance included. And so you have a perfect 1/4 inch seam all the way around your piece. So there we go there. So this is your card, so it's smaller, and this is your piece. So then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our glue stick. I'm going to turn that over, and we're going to pop it in like that and make sure that we've got that 1/4 inch seam allowance, so it's going to be all the way around perfectly. And I'm going to use, just make sure it's perfect, I'm going to use my glue stick, and then you just simply fold over your edges using your glue. Go work your way all the way around. I haven't got mine very straight, but anyway, that is giving you the idea of how you are doing your piece. So you're going to need 6 pieces for the inside of your bowl and 6 pieces for the outside. So there you go, you have your piece of shape there. And so then what we're going to do, so I've already sewn together the exterior, and these pieces here are for my interior. So I'm in the process now of just stitching another of the petals on, and I'll continue to do that while I'm talking to you. So what the purpose of this is to have a center petal. So you need a center pentagon, which is this one here, and then you are going to sew your petals all the way around. So effectively your piece is going to look like this. It's going to look like that. And then once you've sewn them all on, you then bring your petals up like this, and then you will sew them along this edge here all the way around, and then you will end up with a bowl like that. Now you're going to have to want to have a really nice matched one, as I said, for your outside piece, and then you can have this one here, which is a little bit of a contrast for the inside of your bowl. So I will go ahead now and sew this off camera, and then come back and we'll put it together. Okay, I've got mine to the first stage, so you can see here that all of my petals are attached, and so I have like this loose looking flower. Okay, and so I've left my thread attached because I can now fold up one of the sides of the bowl here, like so, and then I can start stitching the side of the bowl up. Now, if you watched my last week's video, I gave you that little hint about the knicker knot, the little figure 8 knot. Now is the time to be putting those in at the start of the corners of the insides of your bowl, because then you get that nice taut section there. So it really is quite an easy process to stitch the bowl together. It's quite addictive, actually. I find it very relaxing just to sit of a night with my overhead light on and just sit and whip stitch the English paper pieces. So if you haven't had much to do with English paper piecing before, I really hope that I've simplified it for you. It really is a very simple process. A lot of the little tips and tricks are things like the little see-through template, the little knicker knots. All of those things make the process so much simpler. So here I am at the end again, and I'm just going to do that figure 8 knot again just to make sure. And because it's a bowl that's going to be used a bit and I truly do not want it to come undone, I'm going to put 2 of them in here on the end, just to be sure that I've got a nice firm seam there. And you can see that that is one section of the bowl together. So now I'm just going to go around and stitch all of those to give me the inside of my bowl. Okay, so that's the center of our bowl all stitched together there now. You can see that it's got the beautiful bowl shape. Very easy to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your outside piece and you're going to turn it in the other way. That's why it's important to have very strong seams here at these corners, because if they're not strong, they will come undone and you will need to restitch them. So if you've done the double knicker knots, you should be fine. So just turn that in the other way so that it looks like this. So now we need to decide where we're going to put our magnet. Now I've got one of those little strong nicodium ones which work really well. And I'm just going to put mine on the side because I want to turn it into a needle keep, so I can sit my needle on the top of my basket when it's not in use. So all you need to do is to get a piece of double-sided tape or a bit of glue, whichever you prefer. Make sure it's on the wrong side of your magnet, so it's not the side that's going to attract your needle, so test it out beforehand. And then with your double-sided tape, just remove the backing and then place your magnet whereabouts inside your little basket that you want it. And then you're going to place the inside of your basket into the outside of your basket, and then you're just going to clip the petals. So you're just going to clip all these petals together. Now when you get to the last couple of petals, it will be a bit of a tight fit. So you just need to make sure it's pushed down, right down into the bottom of that base there. And the easiest part is to match the top of the petal there and then use your hand and push the cardboard down so that it's going to be a nice fit. Okay, so then all you're going to do is you're just going to whip stitch all the way around the top of your bowl so that it's then going to look like this. Now you can then go back with a decorative embroidery thread and do a nice decorative stitch around the top. That's what I intend to do with one of mine, but it will give you a beautiful little thread bowl. So as I said, you can use it for pins, you can use it, I like to have a little bowl like this when I'm doing embroidery, sat next to me to put all my little embroidery scraps into. And so like, you know, little pieces of bits and pieces like this can just go into your little basket. You can have one sitting beside your sewing machine. And as I said, you can also have your needles or your pins. If you wanted to put a magnet around every petal, you could, or a nice big magnet in the bottom. Entirely up to you. But it's just a nice little piece, a little decorative piece that you can use in your sewing machine. And I thought it would be a nice match to go with the pin cushion that a lot of you made last week. So there you go, there's my tutorial. I really do hope that you like it. I hope that you give it a go and make yourself one or two that also make a perfect gift for someone else in your life. Don't They don't necessarily have to be a sewer, of course. It could be just used decoratively in the home. All right, I'll catch you later in the week with another tutorial. See you then. Bye.